What's up guys, AJ here. Are you a new real estate agent or someone that's maybe been in the business for a couple years but haven't really gotten the traction that you quite want, or are you thinking about getting your real estate license? Well, I've helped countless agents make more money working less and even creating some very significant passive incomes through real estate. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, making more money in less time, then you definitely want to watch this video. I've put together kind of like a series, if you will, of some of my best videos geared towards agents who are just getting started. So stay tuned, and if you're getting value during the video, then subscribe to my channel and give the video a like. I remember going to these different brokerages and interviewing with the broker, thinking that I kind of had to make a good impression, kind of like a job interview, right? Typically, you would go in with your resume, you'd be all dressed up, and you'd want to impress them and hope that you got hired, right? Well, in real estate, it actually doesn't work that way. I'm sure there's some brokerages out there that may only hire experienced agents, but for the most part, all the big ones like Keller Williams, Remax, Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens, to my knowledge, Compass, and EXP, where I'm at, they're going to let you join the company as long as your license is in good standing, as long as you have an active real estate license, and as long as you're able to pay the initial fee if there is one, and the monthly fees. Some companies, they have desk fees. So as long as you're able to pay to join, pay to stay there, and you have a license in good standing, they're going to hire you. Hopefully that takes a little bit of the pressure off. So when you go in to meet with these brokers, know that you're really in the position of power. You're interviewing them. So make sure you have questions ready for the broker when you meet with them. If you're actually going into a physical office space, if you remember what those are, kind of like the old Blockbusters, if you're going into one of those, make sure that you check the office out. What's the environment like? What's the energy? But most importantly, make sure the person that's going to be mentoring you, the person that you're going to be partnering with, can truly help them. Ask them, what was your track record as a real estate agent? Ask them, what would I need to do to be successful in real estate? Show me the plan. Are you able to help me business plan, look at the numbers, to take my income goal, break it down, and show me an exact blueprint of what I need to do to be successful? Because so many times, the people that you're meeting with, these brokers, these owners, they really don't know how to show you how to be successful as real estate agents, which is kind of funny because they're in a position as maybe a team leader or a broker owner. You think they'd be able to help you, but a lot of times, and this is true with a lot of top producers, they became successful because of maybe their sphere of influence. And if you're in a position where you don't have a large sphere of influence and you're new to the area, or you're a newer agent and you don't have that sphere of influence, you need somebody who can show you without question a proven, repeatable system that as long as you put in the work, you'll be successful. So ask them questions, really think about what you're looking to get out of a real estate brokerage. One of the great things about getting into real estate today versus 8 years ago when I got into real estate is the value of YouTube. I mean, you can watch videos like this to know what to expect. You can just Google Keller Williams, you can Google eXp Realty, Remax, Century 21, and get an idea for, what types of agents are there, what types of things are these different brokerages offering, and you can have a really good idea of what company you want to join without even interviewing with any. If I were to go back 8 years, quite honestly, I would do most of my research online. I would reach out to some people online through Facebook who I see at these companies, and I would be talking to them. I wouldn't even go into the office. I wouldn't even reach out to the broker owner. I would be talking to the agents who are actually the ones really using that service. They're using that brokerage. And then I would make my choice based on that. Pretty simple, right? And I get asked this all the time too. Should I go with the brokerage that's the cheapest? And the answer to that is definitely a hard no. If you're like me, you never want to go with what's cheapest. Of course, sometimes I do buy things that are the cheapest, or I get services that are the cheapest, but it's only because I feel like those offer the most value for the cost based on what I'm getting. I'm always shopping, whether it's for clothes, whether it's for services, cars, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at overall value. So you need to determine the cost, what you're paying, and what you're getting. Put those two together, that's really your perception of the value, right? And in most cases, the cheapest brokerage to be at is not going to be the one that offers the most value. And on the other end of it, the one that's going to be the most expensive, maybe like a Sotheby's, where it's extremely expensive to be at because you're associating with that name, that brand in the luxury market, they're not going to be offering the most value either. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle. So ideally, you want to find a company that's offering a very competitive commission split. You want to be with a company that's offering a cap. If you're not familiar with what a cap is once you pay X amount of dollars into the brokerage, you don't pay any more money. So that's huge. I know agents who have paid in hundreds of thousands of dollars in 1 year to their broker, whereas if they're at a company that had a cap, they would have only paid maybe $16,000, $25,000. So that's huge. You want to look at what type of CRM system are you getting. A CRM system is simply a contact relationship management system. So you want a way to be able to follow up with the leads. You want to look at what type of training you're getting. One of the reasons why I love EXP is because we have over 50 hours a week of live training in our cloud office. That's more training than any brokerage is offering its agents on a weekly basis right now. So that's super powerful. You want to know, what types of people am I going to be surrounded with? If you're the type of person that's high energy, you're a doer, you want to take action, you want to just live this life of freedom, and you just really want to go for it, then you want to surround yourself with people like that. If you're maybe doing this part-time, you're very reserved, you're just hoping to sell maybe 1 or 2 houses a year, well, then you should probably be in an environment where all of the agents just want to kind of sit back and make part-time income. And that's okay too. Maybe a discount brokerage, meaning a brokerage that might only charge a couple $100 a transaction, is the right fit for you. There's no brokerage that's, really fits everybody. So you got to understand that there are different brokerages out there that offer different things. And if you'd like, I can help you with that process. So feel free to find me on Instagram at AJMida and shoot me a DM. I would love to help you out with determining what a good brokerage might be for you. Obviously, I'm with EXP. I love EXP, but I know it's not for everybody. And I always just like to be as straightforward as possible when I'm talking to agents about possibly joining EXP, if it's for them or not, because it's not for everybody. And when agents partner with me at EXP, it's a big deal to me because I'm going to invest a lot of my time and energy in them, helping them become successful agents, helping them build their passive income through revenue share. And I don't want someone who isn't a good fit for our company to be joining our company, partnering with me investing all this time and energy for maybe 6 months, a year later, they discover that EXP wasn't the right fit for them and then they move on. So I always do my best to really get an idea of what their needs are and see if that matches up with EXP. So let's first talk about the pros of becoming a listing agent. When I got into real estate, my goal was to be a rock star listing agent, and there's a few main reasons. One of the first ones is because as a listing agent, you're the most leveraged. What do I mean by that? The reality is listings just take less time to sell, meaning it takes less of your time to sell that, which means you're going to make more per hour when working with listings. Another reason I wanted to be a listing agent is because I didn't want to be spending nights and weekends working with buyers. Typically, when can buyers see houses? It's going to be nights and weekends. So as a buyer's agent, typically you're going to be working a lot of Saturdays, a lot of Sundays, maybe doing open houses. And for me, I just wanted absolute control of my time. So it was very rare when I was ever working a weekend, and typically I'd be home by around 6:30 after maybe going on a listing appointment in the evening. So I had a lot more control of my schedule. Another pro of being a listing agent is you can generate leads at a much lower cost, typically speaking, than when working with buyers. Another pro of being a listing agent is you can generate leads at a very low cost. And in next week's video, I'm going to be talking about different ways that you can generate leads and what you should be focusing on as either a listing or buyer's agent. But just to give you a quick example, you can actually call or prospect sellers, expireds, for sale by owners, and you can do that at no cost or very low cost. And when I got started in real estate, I had little to no money to invest in leads. Now let's talk about the cons of being a listing agent. The fact of the matter is, sellers are much more selective than buyers. The seller is the one that's going to be paying your commission, so when you're going out for a listing appointment, they're truly interviewing you for the job as their agent. And that's why a lot of new agents typically like to work with buyers, because they know if they show up and present themselves well, they have a good shot of getting the client, whereas the skill set for taking a listing is a little more advanced. However, as a new agent, you can certainly still become a listing agent just like I did. You just got to make sure that you're working on your skills and developing them. Now let's talk about some pros of being a buyer's agent. The biggest one, again, is it just takes less skills really to work with buyers. However, of course, a good buyer agent is going to have a very strong skill set, but a new agent without any skills, being a buyer's agent is typically going to be a little bit easier. The buyer isn't paying your commission, so they're not going to be as selective. You want to educate them so that they understand that they don't pay your commission up front, because a new home buyer isn't going to understand that. Another pro for being a buyer's agent is once you have the client, the only cost involved is the cost of gas showing homes. When you're a listing agent, you're going to spend money on things like photography. Sometimes you're going to need to pay to actually have the house measured. In some states that's a requirement. You're going to need to pay to market the home. So if you're just starting off and you don't have any money to invest in the marketing of a listing, then working with buyers is going to help you a little bit in that aspect. Now let's talk about the cons. It takes a lot more time to work with buyers. And if you don't know how to qualify them properly, and I'm not talking about getting them pre-approved, I'm talking about qualifying them to see if they're serious about buying a house. This is even before the pre-qualification process. You get a lot of looky-loos. It's funny, in the real estate agent community, we call them Pop-Tart agents. A buyer calls you, hey, I want to see this house, and you just pop out and go show them. So there's a process that you need to follow to make sure that that buyer is actually ready, willing, and able to purchase a house. I know so many agents that will show 10, 20, 30, even 40 plus houses and find out that that buyer is just looking at houses for entertainment, or can't actually afford the house or get qualified for a mortgage. So you're going to spend a lot of time early on if you don't do a good job qualifying with looky-loos, and even if you are doing a good job qualifying them and you're working with buyers who are ready, willing, and able to purchase a home, it just takes more time. A listing agent doesn't have to be there for the inspection. The buyer's agent has to be there for the inspection. If there's anything that comes up for the listing, say, I had a property one time that had a cracked foundation. It was the buyer's agent's job to actually go out and find the contractors to get the estimates to repair the cracked foundation. And once they had all their estimates, I was able to present those to my client, and if that was satisfactory to them based on the prices and based on the bids that came in, then we could negotiate repairs from there. So they had to put in a lot of legwork to do all the due diligence. Ultimately, you got to decide what you want to do as a real estate agent. And of course, you can focus on both. However, if you're going to become an expert real estate agent, now of course you can work with both buyers and sellers. However, you definitely are going to want to focus on one or the other. And for me, it was a no-brainer, because if I could make more per hour as an agent working with listings, why wouldn't I do that? Of course, if you're going to make this a career, you're going to want to invest in yourself and become better and build your skill sets. So if you're going to do that anyways, why not do it so that you're working with more sellers as opposed to buyers? It only made sense for me. And that's what has allowed me to have such a great quality of life while working as an agent. So many agents who work with a lot of buyers are just working nights, weekends, and they're missing so much with their family. And as a listing agent, you just have so much more flexibility in your schedule. You control your schedule. So for me, it was more money per hour working sellers, low cost leads, and more control over my schedule. That's why I ultimately chose to be a listing agent. I'm going to show you how to create a listing presentation the easiest and the cheapest way possible using Canva. I absolutely love Canva, been using it for years. You can do so many different cool things in terms of marketing your real estate business, growing your social media. So I just want to show you how I would use it to create a listing presentation. Now there's definitely much more advanced ways to create listing presentations. I personally had mine customized. It cost thousands of dollars, but if you're just getting started or just need a quick refresh, this is an absolutely great way to do it. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is pretty much what you're going to see when you first log in. I would just go to create a design, and you can just type in listing presentation. There we go, we'll select that. So there's all these different choices that you have. There's so many choices, and I would just pick the one that catches your eye first, because if it catches your eye quick, then you know it's a design that might appeal to others. You want something that's going to pop. So I'm just gonna scroll it once, see what pops the most. Man, there's so many, it's crazy. All right. So I'm gonna go with this one, and you'll see 1 out of 25. What that means is there's 25 slides to this presentation. So you can click that, and you'll see all the different slides. Apply all 25 pages. That's going to populate your slides, and now you can start customizing. Super simple to customize. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in Mida real estate. Selling your home, I like that. I have to swap this out. So again, Mida real estate. And then if you like that centered, you can just simply grab the box, bring it down. Same with these, you can move them wherever you want them. And what's cool about Canva, one of the reasons I like it, it makes it really easy to center things. So if you wanted a different orientation for selling your home, you just grab it, and you see those purple lines that are popping up? So that purple line that's horizontal across the screen, that's indicating that I'm now equal distance, it looks like, from the blue bar and from Mida real estate. So I'll bring that down a little bit. If I want to bring it over, you can see how the purple lines are moving, and it's just giving you an idea, and it kind of, when you get to it, it kind of like locks into that purple line. So you're not trying to drag it close, it just locks it into the new orientation that you might want. So we'll go ahead and just move that back. We'll leave it right there. Down here, I'd type in my name. So by AJ Mida. If you want to change the color, what you could do is just go up here, say your colors are red. Now you change the color. There's probably a way, I would guess, to do them all at the same time throughout the entire document. Not sure on that. Worst case scenario, you're going through on every slide and just making sure you hit that. But we're going to go ahead and leave it blue for the purpose of this. So an overview, you can change that up if you'd like. Again, make sure you're swapping out your name there. You got your discussion points. And I really like this when it comes to images. So say you want to use a different image, all you do is delete, and then you come over to your uploads. Got a bunch of different stuff going on here. Let's get a picture of a house. It would do much better with one that had more of a vertical orientation, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to just use this one. We'll scroll that so it's a little bigger. Now this, if I want to go back over the image, I go to position and hit forward. So now, just like the other image, it's over the house. Scrolling down, you're just really replacing all this information with yours. So again, I would put Mida in here. Introduction. I like this a little bit over here. Got it even with Mida real estate. So you could put something like, we sell homes faster and for more money than the average agent. Now, of course, that has to be true, so make sure you're putting in factual stuff here, but that just gives you an idea. So you'll want to spend a little bit of time with this process and put things in that make sense. You know, think about it, be smart, be creative. Some other great things that you could do to kind of brainstorm is just go to other real estate companies in your area's websites. You can go to other top producers in your local market, or even better yet, go to top producers' websites in other markets. And then that way, if you use something that's a little similar, the person in your market doesn't see it on your website and get upset with that. Of course, don't copy, don't plagiarize, but we always like to use something that's working for somebody else, of course. So that's something that you might want to do. So that's pretty much it, guys. You just go slide by slide by slide. It's that simple. So here, again, watch how easy this is. See how it kind of grabbed the image? Go undo, so undo. So as I'm sliding it over, you can kind of see how it can fit it to the slide or fit it to the image. And you see how it even gave me a nice black and white effect. If you want it to be the background of the image, you could do that as well by just sliding it over like that. You could get rid of that. You could do something fun with this, like make this white. And you could even do like a little element. So we could grab, say, a square. And we could throw the square behind it, make it more into like a rectangle. And we could like pop that right there, scroll down. So there's different elements that you can do to the presentation to customize it even more. But I really like just using what's already there. I would keep it very simple. For this specific image, you're just going to need something that's more of a vertical orientation that's going to drop in nicely. So you could probably spend a little time cropping the image. That might work a little better. So let me crop. Oh, that works pretty easy. Boom. There we go. See how simple that is, guys? I mean, this is my first time actually making a listing presentation on this platform. I've made a lot of other stuff, but never a listing presentation. And I'm going through it this fast. And it's that intuitive where I was able to just take a random image, crop it a little bit, drop it in here, and now it looks super nice. So really slick presentation. I'm telling you guys, I've sold hundreds of homes. I sold probably at least 50 houses before I had a presentation that was even close to how nice this one is. So if you're just getting started in real estate, if you're not using anything or what you're using is just maybe a template that you got from your brokerage that doesn't look that nice, I mean, this is something that can really dress up what you're using. I know if I'm a client, you come over and you use something that looks like this, I'm going to be impressed because it's a really nice modern design. There's a lot of white space. And this is what buyers and sellers are looking for when working with an agent. They want somebody who has modern design. And the presentations in here are built that way. You can just search real estate and see what types of things are in here. So let's go back to home. Let's go to create design. And now let's type in real estate. See what kind of fun things pop up. So we got flyers. We have a slideshow real estate video. We'll take a look at that because I'm curious. We have real estate social graphic, real estate postcard, business card, newsletter, yard sign, brochure. I mean, how cool is that? Like, let's see this yard sign. That's pretty unique. Okay, so these are a little unique. I probably wouldn't use these for an actual yard sign, but these could be like a fun social media graphic. Let's go back and actually look at the real estate video that I was talking about. I'm curious. That could be something really fun to use if it was done well. And a lot of these features are really new with Canva. When I started using it about 5 years ago, a lot of these didn't even exist. So they're going to keep getting better, I'm sure. Like this one, for example, it says real estate slideshow video. Okay, so this is pretty cool. So once you put in all the information that you want, all the pictures that you want, it's the presentation. So you could have a cool video there. That's pretty neat. You could even turn this into a listing presentation, which could be pretty cool, and actually do it on your iPad. Or you can make it into like a YouTube video, and if you just want to hit play, it's going to go ahead and take it and show you the whole presentation. That's pretty slick. That's pretty slick, actually. I like that. Something great to post on your Instagram or your Facebook. And I would just switch up the colors. And another cool feature is if you grab a different picture, it will grab the colors from the picture that you're using and give you some recommendations. So I just dropped that in. See, we have photo colors. So if we want to match the photo, we can go ahead and do that. See photo colors? Now we're matching this a little bit more. I'd go something a little bit brighter there, and that's pretty neat. So another thing that you can do is transparency. So if you want to make it more transparent, more opaque, you can. So that's it, guys. I really just wanted to show you how to make a listing presentation using Canva. When I saw them add this as a feature, I just thought it was super awesome. I knew I had to make a video on it to show you guys exactly how to do it, because I know there's a lot of agents right now, especially at like smaller firms that don't have a lot of the training and technology that the bigger ones have, that don't have something that's as nice as what I just showed you. All right, so far in week 1 we talked about really where should you be getting your advice from. In week 2 we talked about should you be a listing agent, a buyer's agent, what should you be focused on. Week 3 we talked about lead generating activities, which type should you focus on, which one's a good fit for you. So by now you should know exactly A, where you're getting your advice, your coaching from, B, are you going to focus on listings or buyers? And 3, what types of lead generation activities are you going to focus on? So now it's time, at last, to develop the perfect schedule for a real estate agent. We need to time block those activities into your schedule. And when I say perfect schedule for a real estate agent, you know, it's like the perfect, it's the ideal, you know, every day is not going to happen like that. However, what you want to do is you want to plan out your day on paper of what it should look like every single day, and it really shouldn't vary that much, but every single day it should be like your ideal day. And of course, things are going to come up, you'll get off track a little bit here and there, but you want to have a blueprint of what the successful day looks like for you. What I found out early on in my real estate career is that discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals success. It's kind of counterintuitive. You know, a lot of real estate agents, they actually get into real estate to not have a boss anymore, to have freedom over their schedule, to be able to do what they want. And what happens a lot of the times is because of those freedoms, without the discipline, they end up not really making any money and go back to what they were doing before, which is having a boss, which you have to sometimes ask to go on vacation. Like, that's not cool. I'm all about freedom. I want you to succeed in real estate. To be a grown person and have to ask somebody when you're gonna take time off, if you can leave early to pick up a sick kid from work, like, man, that just like in my core like goes against everything I believe. So I'm passionate about this topic. I'm passionate about your freedom, and your freedom starts with discipline. So please, I know this topic isn't the most exciting, you know, time blocking, like who wants to really like talk about that? But like it is what your real estate career is gonna rise and fall on. I promise you that. So let's get into it. So you've decided which lead generation activities you're going to focus on. So I'm just going to use my example because my example is what I did to succeed at a high level in this business. So for me, I'll just go through what my perfect day looked like, and then we'll talk about what yours could look like. So for me, I was like, you know what? I need like extreme focus on one lead generation activity, and you should have that same focus, because the truth of the matter is one lead generation activity, you can easily sell 24 to 36 houses a year on that one activity before doing anything else. So let's start with that. So I said for me it was going to be expireds. I said expireds because it was low cost and it was the fastest way to get listings. I needed to make money now. We know with expireds they're ready to sell because their house just failed to sell. So that's what I picked. So to develop a good ideal schedule for that, what I discovered was I needed to actually be working on my skill set. You know, in real estate, it's so funny. We have the opportunity to earn as much money as a lot of, you know, professional athletes. I think the average or the minimum wage for the NFL is, it used to be, I think, 250 grand a year. Now it's 400. Either way, as a real estate agent, you can make that type of wage. You know, I've done it. So, but we don't want to practice our skills. We don't want to practice for the game. You know, what do athletes do? They practice all week long, 8 hours a day, whatever it is. I was never a professional athlete, but they practice hard and they study and they practice and they study and they practice. Now then they perform on Sunday if it's the NFL, you know, for a couple hours. But they practice all week for that moment. But in real estate, we get some leads, we decide we're just gonna call them and say whatever comes to mind. Like, that is not the right way to do it. So we gotta practice, right? So 7:45 a.m., I was on the phones with a script practice partner, and we would role play our scripts, only for 15 minutes. If you want to do 30 minutes, even better, but I did 15 minutes. So from 7:45 to 8, I was role playing. If you want to start role playing, there's a lot of great Facebook groups you can do it. You can join my Facebook group, links in the comments, and you can find role play partners in there. So this is the format for role playing. Partner A goes first. He or she says their script. You're giving them objections, they're handling them back and forth, and then you always let them set the appointment, because that's how you practice. You want to always get the appointment, so you're going to practice that way. However, be kind of tough, throw some objections, be tough, this is real play, so be tough, but always, at the end, give them some positive feedback and some things they can work on. Positive feedback, things they did good, something they can work on. All right, so that's 15 minutes. I went, they went, and I did that 5 days a week. And I typically had 2 to 4 different role play partners, but I was doing it 5 days a week. 8 a.m., I was on the phones. 8 to 10, I was calling outbound expireds. That's it. A text came in, email came in, I didn't even know, because I wasn't on my phone, I wasn't in my email, right? The way I wasn't on my phone is I was using Mojo Dialer. I was connected to my computer, my phone was away from me, on airplane mode, whatever, so I wasn't distracted. Okay, so 8 to 10, it doesn't matter, you gotta be so focused on your ideal daily schedule that it's crazy. Seriously, this is no joke. If a client was calling me, let's just say I was on break for a minute, because I'd take 10 minutes break after a 50-minute call session. If I saw a message pop up, I wouldn't answer it, because to me, it doesn't matter if their house was burning down. Yeah, of course it matters, I would not want that to happen, but I'm the wrong person to call. You call the fire department, you call 911, you don't call me. So I can handle that call after my time block, because 8 to 11 was blocked off. But 8 to 10 was strictly outbound calls. From 10 to 11 was lead follow-up. Typically lead follow-up would be 10 to 10:30, and then from 10:30 to 11, I would return any incoming calls that may have come in from a prospect during that time. So it was 3 hours of good, focused lead generation. When you're focused like that, using the right tools, you should be able to talk to 8 to 10 people an hour. That's pretty good. And then after that, that takes us to 11 to 12, I would reply to emails, texts, whatever else came through. If I had some clients I needed to call, that's what I would do during that time. 12 to 12:30, take lunch. 12:30 to 1, I would typically, relax, maybe go for a walk, maybe work out, motivational videos, things like that, just stuff to give me energy again, keep me motivated. And then from 1 to 3 was admin. So admin could be sending out market reports, it could be preparing for appointments in the afternoon, whatever it might be, admin, negotiating contracts, which we love to do. And then from 3 to 6, that was time for listing appointments. And if I didn't have any listing appointments and I was behind on my goals, I would prospect more. So the year when I sold 36 houses, I went back to my Mojo stats at the end of the year, and I averaged 8 hours a week of outbound prospecting. 8 hours a week, that's not bad. You hear a lot of people coaching 4 to 6 hours a day. As a new agent, if you have nothing else to do, yeah, you should be doing that. But seriously, on a good focus, 2 hours a day, 8 hours a week of just outbound calls, you can make some serious income and have a great quality of life on that. That's why working sellers is my preference and what I recommend, because it's so much more leveraged. So then after 6, I'd be at home with family, my wife and my dogs. But it doesn't take a lot of time on nights and weekends when you're working listings. So that was really my ideal schedule. Yeah, sometimes a listing appointment went over maybe to 7 p.m., but that was really rare. Saturday morning, Sunday, I just didn't work. It was my time off. Offers waited till Monday. That's the type of lifestyle, that's the type of business that you can run when you're in control of your time. The person who puts the highest value on their time and ultimately makes it a priority, they're in control of it, they control their schedule, they're the one that gets their way in situations. If a seller asks, hey, can you come out on Saturday? Actually I can't this Saturday. How does Monday work? Does 4 or 6 p.m. work better? Does 4 or 5? Whatever, a trial close. In a very, very rare instance, maybe I mean, I'm talking about on one hand. I might go out on a Saturday morning. So that was my ideal schedule. I'm going to go ahead and just share a couple examples of what that might look like real quick. So for a buyer's agent, if that's what you're going to focus on, buyer lead gen, again, should still take place in the morning. I highly recommend you take and always do your lead generation in the morning, because that's when your energy is the highest. You know, your day's just going to get away from you. If you wait till the afternoon to do it, you're probably not going to do it. So first thing in the morning, do your lead gen, whether you're focused on buyers or sellers. And then if you're focused on buyers, the reality is you're probably going to be showing them on some weekends and some nights. So maybe Mondays are blocked off for family and you're working every Saturday. Or maybe evenings are for showings, so the first 2 hours in the morning you're hanging out with your kids. Then your lead gen starts at, say, 10, whatever it might be. So there's some flexibility in there, but the homework for you is just to go ahead and write your ideal schedule. If you have questions on that, or if you want to share what yours is, post that in the comments. I'd love to see it. I'd love to give you some coaching on it. Hey, thanks for staying all the way to the end. If you liked the video, which I'm sure you did if you're here watching the end, then give me a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and hey, right now, watch the video that I'm putting up on the screen, because it's my best content all around seller prospecting. So if you want to get better at taking listings, becoming the best listing agent in your market, then you're definitely going to want to watch that. So watch that right now.